lane dominant player. I want to check that because in my mind I agreed, but I want to see if I was right.
Okay.
So here's a pop quiz for y'all at home and you, Jat. So the stat is XP plus gold, difference at 10, right? Are you getting more minis? Are you getting more gold? What rank is blue in that metric among the LCS mid laners?
You told me to say second highest, and it's a trust fall, so second highest.
He is second highest behind Jojopion. He's above Bjergsen. He's above Tukui. Blue has actually been crushing in lane throughout this split. Is it because he's roaming bot and getting kills sometimes? Yes, of course, but that's part of early lane pressure. So he has been very good. They've been really spiky. Remember his solo kill against Abadaga back last weekend. There was the quadra kill 2 weeks ago as well, I think during Super Week. So he has had some really, really good moments. Dignitas right now 5-5. If they win, they are tied for third here with FlyQuest.
Yeah, like we said yesterday on the desk, there's that Cloud9 TL just running away with the league, but the fight for third is wide open.
Yeah.
With this big pack in the middle. So I actually do also like the bans from FlyQuest here. Caitlyn, Karma, Thresh, all three very heavily moved towards the bottom lane. I mean, even just watching Dignitas yesterday, the way they were able to have another solid Caitlyn Lux game, them having like a pushing bot lane that can then enable them to take first turret and get Bifrost on the map is so crucial to their overall strategy of winning. So I just really like those three bans.
I think it's great. Looking at Bifrost's overall stats right now, Lux is the most played champion. He's got a positive win rate when his team has been, 9-11 so far across season. But his Thresh is in the same boat actually at 60%. So those are the things that he's been kind of getting pushed off of. And okay, maybe you play Lux, but probably not with Caitlyn or without Caitlyn, right? So down to the Tom Kench that he did win on, but it was the one game.
Yeah. Tom Kench is pretty lethal. It was banned against him yesterday as well, but it's just picking your poison with Dignitas and does somewhat go to wondering what else is available. And the big thing that I'm going to look for is, are we going to see Jarvan? It was permabanned against River because he was dominating so many people with it in lock-in and at the start of the split. But now, argumentatively, like the faster clearing junglers like Hecarim, does that just outpace Jarvan? Clearly, FlyQuest thinks that answer is yes, but if they're going to pick Jarvan, now would be the time. They would just match the roles and give him something he can set up around bottom lane with.
Well, Model is in, so plenty of CC down there. The Hecarim to dive in as well. Jose Ditto back again on a champion he can try to carry on. Second game of the split here. And the question is, do Dignitas want to match jungle, or is the pool big enough? They go for the Jarvan.
Let's throw it down, right? River definitely is the type of player this year that looks like he's willing to just hard force Jarvan, but I want to emphasize there is a huge clear speed difference between this. So River will have to make his early game count, whether it's through ganks or whether it's trying to deny farm from Jose Jodo. So I'm looking forward to tracking River in the early game now that he's got Jarvan again. 2-0 in the LCS Spring Split, but you expand that to lock-in, and it is 5
games.
Yeah,
doing really well on it overall. Second round of bans, Ari, top of the table, still another high-prized pick. I was sent a stat. I didn't check it, so it could be wrong, but I was sent a stat the other day that every league but LCK has a negative win rate on Ari, and in the LCK, she's 12-11, barely positive. So there's a lot that goes into a stat like that. It's not to say Ari's definitely bad, but hasn't been successful by and large so far.
And it would also be good against Jarvan.
Yeah.
So rather than taking the opinion that Dig is banning it away from themselves because who's going to lose on it, I think it's because it's good against Jarvan.
It is.
And it would be a good ban for blind for FlyQuest.
Yep. Not table as well. We'll see if Fate God is allowed to take counter. Does have 6 games on the Gragas. So far still left up, and anecdotally feels like one of the better picks for him. He has it was a Jat stat. I saw it the other day.
Yep.
He has the lowest team proximity of any player in the LCS. If there's anyone who's an island boy, which is a terrible song, by the way, don't look it up, it is him. He is the island boy.
And also, he is 4-0 when he picks his top laner after the opponent picks their top laner. Not a crazy new strategy that I think Dignitas is going to pick top lane on 5, since every team in the LCS is doing it. But I'm looking for the mid lane pick here for blue. Could it be Victor?
Jat, no,
it is. So we were looking this up earlier, actually. It is Tukui who hasn't played Victor
ever in his career.
from the games that are on Games of Legends. Maybe it's missing some early like LFL minor leagues where he was coming up or something, but of the over 100 games it has for Takui, he has no Victor games. But it is also a pick that Blue has played 5 times, including lock-in, and won 4 of them. So Dignitas is getting a lot of comfort champs so far in this draft.
That's pretty cool. And now we're seeing the Tryndamere hover. We know that Gragas tends to be picked as the answer, not a hard counter, but one that outscales and out-team fights. And here's the chance. Is it going to be 5-0, Jat? Does top lane win? Does Dignitas win when Fake God gets the second chance?
It was Kumo that needs the counter pick, so it's a bad sign for FlyQuest that they were able to get
backwards
that.
In that one. You're right. Yeah, Kumo was the 4-0.
It's the craziest thing, actually, because it's 4-0 when it happens, and then the blind pick wins have been when he's played a Smite top.
Yeah, it was the Carmen Janna from the week 1.
So a lot of this is correlation. I think there's a slight amount of causation in that, since he is someone who gets such little attention on the map. Having him in an advantage place just sets everything up well. That would be something.
Yeah. Actually, this is even better. Solo Data has Malphite as the #1 counterpick in the Tryndamere. You have an attack speed slow that is really reliable on that E. You basically can't be tower dove. You can trade him back. I
really
want
good.
this. This fits a team comp to dive
so
things in. Victor Jinx has great follow-up. You buy a Warden's Mail, you stack up armor, you will survive this lane for sure.
I think it's the matchup data is one thing, but the way that it fits in with the rest of the comp, it's actually such an amazing pick for countering the entire team comp of FlyQuest. So 1, they have a low mobility 80 carry in Aphelios. 2, their jungle top is both AD. And 3, the only magic damage on FlyQuest, which typically comes from the mid lane, is Zillion. And that's not going to be targeting the Malphite for the double bomb. It's just an insane pick. If he gets any type of gold, he's going to be great for this.
All right, we have got a monolith for Fake God in the top lane. FlyQuest Dignitas coming up.
A lion! Ah, yes, the king of the jungle. Time for a Red Bull. Red Bull? Still, you'll never be faster than a lion. I don't have to be quicker than the lion, just faster than you. Red Bull gives you wings.
What is going on?
I can't afford streaming anymore, so...
Sure you can. State Farm has rates that fit your budget.
Oh, good. Because some true crime would be nice.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or click to get a quote today.
Welcome back. We got a Malphite, and I'm excited. I think this is one of the most underpicked champions in League of Legends. I am glad to see it. We are in a very, I would say, heavy sort of, I don't want to say 4-1 because a lot of the supports do like middling magic damage, but we are in a really heavy mono AP meta right now, where a lot of team comps have only magic damage coming out of mid lane and nowhere else in the roles. This makes any armor stack champions like Malphite, and dare I even say Rammus, but I mean, Armor Advanced's in a very, very good spot when Randuin's Omen and Frozen Heart got buffed under a year ago. Malphite, again, actually works really, really well. People have realized Warden's Mail is an absurdly strong item, and you kind of can't lose lane post Warden's Mail. That said, a lot of these matchups you still need to scale into. Like, if you look at, again, solo queue data, Tryndamere is still favored in getting first bloods, favored in getting first tower. You tend to win the early lanes as someone like Tryndamere, but as the armor items stack up, he just stops getting to do things.
And we will be investigating this quick pause on stage and hoping to get into the game as quickly as possible. But going through the draft one more time, the fact that, like, let's kind of go through win conditions for both teams. So FlyQuest at this point needs Kumo to be very successful in a side lane, or I think they need the Zillion Hecarim to really take over from the early mid-game, which would be possible if you're FlyQuest, because Hecarim can outpace the Jarvan. If Jarvan's early ganks don't go well, then Speedy Hecarim is a very potent combo. But on the flip side, the 5v5 from Dignitas is just going to be very, very strong. Even if Hecarim ults in, they'll have the Tahm Kench to save either Neo or Blue, and it's just going to be almost impossible for FlyQuest to cut down the front line of Dig, who can heavily armor stack. Because there's very little magic damage coming through from FlyQuest.
Yeah, so, you dive in, right? Hecarim comes flying in, Trynd comes flying in, and, which of the 2 carries you go for, right? That Tahm Kench supporting them is going to make it a pretty good-looking team fight as Malphite slowly works everyone down as well, or just starts it out in the beginning. Going to be important to see what happens. Blue spotted out, walks away, early sweeper pop to look through, and going to be safe under the tower. That's going to be a mana flow ban. Thanks very much.
That's interesting. If it's Blue's birthday on the 7th, and he's from Europe, and it's the 7th in Europe.
Happy birthday.
But it's the 6th
where he is.
But he's here.
Yeah.
So it's not his birthday. Like, that's a weird one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as someone with family on the East Coast, yeah, you'd get like the, you know, so it's funny. So my birthday, I was born at 10 o'clock in California, which
Okay.
means to my grandparents in Michigan,
Yeah.
I was born on St. Patrick's Day.
Okay.
And so I would always get like happy birthday St. Patrick's Day cards because to them, their grandson was born on the 17th of March.
Ooh.
And like, it's more just like as a joke. They're not you know, doing anything troll with that one. But yeah, like Blue's family is currently celebrating his birthday over in Belgium.
But he can't because
He
it's not
can't.
his birthday yet.
Nope. But an early birthday present is the 2-0 weekend. So you know who's going to complain.
This is something I'm never going to solve. Anyway, the invade onto Hecarim, I believe, is intelligent because Hecarim generally wants to full clear, so any way they can disrupt that is smart. Tahm Kench's level 1 is absurd, so they just used it to bully invade the red buff. The question will be, though, if this just ends up being a map split, which could become actually very dangerous. We talked about the early laning phase from Fake God not being super strong, so if we pull up the mini-map, right, there is this ward here, so they'll know that he's going. And we see Jarvan trying to cross, but if the Tryndamere can actually shove this lane and go in with Hecarim, there could be a potential for conflict. So I want to track this. If he's able to make this cross map and clear his camps, it's going to be great for Dignitas and really shut down the Hecarim.
Yeah, and Jose's going to be down 2 camps right now as he finishes out his top side clear. That's level 3. Lets the item ticket, and now he's on the way over. Now Smite is going to be up first for the Jarvan. He took the rune. He took the rune for faster summoner spells, so the Smite fight is always going River's way. Instead, Ghost into the mid lane, but Blue's not going to get pushed back too easily. Does get pulled in. Sidesteps the bombs. Those were crucial, but Tukui's going to miss.
Oh,
the
whoa.
skill traps now on the bottom side. Exhaust, a flash away for Johnson. A bit more now towards Aframu. Decent damage, 150 left. The stun, but they don't have enough range to follow through.
Afro with the hook onto the minion, not the way you want to start the fight. Jose doesn't even burn a summoner spell with his gank mid. Sure, it gets the teleport, but this is a very promising start for Dignitas.
Looking pretty good, and right now it's actually Jarvan who's up camps on Hecarim. Yeah. It's Hecarim who ganked earlier, and yeah, it turns out, you know, Jarvan's a better ganker, and obviously with camps being down, there is a Raptor left, so Jose's gonna grab that and be like, guess I'm waiting about a minute for my drop to come back up.
Yeah, all things, he's still gonna be able to get level 4 at about
430?
Actually, it's going to be a while.
It's
going to be a while.
Grump and Wolves, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe he gets top scuttle here.
He's only 3.5, and
Yeah.
the first scuttle crab is deflated experience, so he's not even going to get 4 off of this. He's really far behind.
Yep. He's down a full red buff and basically a full Raptor. So to make that up, you need basically the Gromp plus Wolves to make the XP whole, and that's probably when he's going to hit it. There is a chance Gromp is 4, regardless. It's still going to be 4 minutes and change. So got to look towards top side. Should have expectations that this is where he's headed, but FakeGod must push the wave in. Here comes the push. Do they have enough? Now FakeGod puts on a slow,
early
but
flash.
he's still going to get pulled right back in. He flashes for nothing. He gets Kuba to flash to chase. Not sure if that was needed, but first blood on the board on the Tryndamere.
It's really interesting the way the early jungle has played out. It's 32 CS to 20, which is what I might have expected in the Jarvan Hecarim matchup, but it's flipped. The Hecarim has pulled off 3 ganks. And the fact that the first one worked was actually very necessary. I think Fake God could have held his flash until after the pushback and likely survived that gank. He will teleport back and still catch minions, but thank goodness for Jose that gank worked. Otherwise, he would have been very far behind.
Well, Thimblewinter in some armor. Going to be the look here for Fake God. Try to hold on. You can always go for the Q poke, but Trynd has some decent sustain all the same. Pickaxe, Enemy Crystal in. It is going to be Hull Breaker for the Trynd. No surprises there. Spend time in the side lane, get the push going. That does mean he's going to have a harder time actually killing Malphite. Like, there's an argument to make around actually just going Kraken Slayer and really going for the 1v1 and trying to push through the defensive. That's not necessarily the winning play, but it is at least an option.
Yeah.
Going for the very standard option, though, of, well, I'll survive. We can kind of push the waves in, and then we'll look more for the team fights.
Yeah, I think the durability of Hullbreaker is actually super important for Kumo in this matchup because with his level of durability and the low damage of Malphite Jarvan, if he can just shrug off a 2v1 whenever he wants and Dignitas actually has to move blue to make something happen, that's a way the split push can really start to overpower the game.
Go. Trying again. Blue just pushed towards the side, but bombs are on cooldown. No way to double up, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, I don't know if it's a miscoordination or they just simply said, look, I'm just going to walk by, let's just deal some damage, whatever. But the bomb reset was on cooldown when the gank came in, and I assume they were chatting with each other, so give him benefit of the doubt, say, yeah, it's just damage, peace out, whatever. It's not like he burned Ghost for it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, not much of a gank.
Zillion's also not easy.
Also true.
We have a Zillion player in the LCS who oftentimes makes it look easy, but a lot of those bombs are going wayward, and Blue has done a very nice job of sidestepping it. He's actually up in CS despite 2 ganks coming through and being pushed back to base early, so Blue's chilling in that lane.
He's chilling. Zillion, of course, does scale quite well as long as you have the people worth supporting. So far, that's going to be likely with Jose Diodo getting at least a gank off and Trin doing well. And Johnson is down 10 CS, so that's worth pointing out. I do like Aphelios' late game quite a bit. He's got most of a wave to farm, so really not looking too bad down there. But yes, credit to Blue. Still going to wait to see what River can actually have accomplished in this one. Be careful, because Jose Diodo could go for a play down here. Not level 6 in the Tahm Kench means no Devour, and that Trigger Ward will die.
Yeah, and we can see River also just shadowing to allow them to push this wave all the way into the turret. Probably not going for the extra turret plate because with 1 minute left to Rift Herald, I would expect actually Dignitas to be looking to make an early move up there. Look at the item advantage they have actually right now with the Noon Quiver compared to just 2 longswords. So that should consistently allow them to push the wave faster, and it's going to make it fairly difficult for FlyQuest to get any type of move from the bot lane.
Always advantage, by the way, as a support. If you have nothing to do, please, everyone at home, if you are playing support and you have nothing to do, stay in the brush.
Yeah.
Don't let them know if you recalled. Don't let them know if you bypassed wards and walked mid. Don't let them know if you're roaming. Please don't just sit in vision doing nothing if you have nothing to do. Please stay in fog of war. Good play by Biofrost.
Absolutely, and they just don't know where he is. So
Until he walks up.
even after another recall, Johnson still doesn't have the Noon Quiver, so there's going to be consistent shove for Neo and Biofrost in that bottom lane.
Interesting that he chose pickaxe. Because Noon Quiver's really, really, really gold efficient. Whatever. It's not a big deal. I actually think finishing Noon Quiver, even though you're leaving 300 gold like unspent, it's actually still more stats.
Yeah. 30 attack damage, 15 attack speed versus 25 AD.
Yeah, and the on-hit damage for minions, which guarantees, I mean,
Huge.
with a pickaxe, you also guaranteed last hit under turret without any help, but
Yeah.
It does give you a lot of push pressure. Regardless, not a very important deal. What's more important is where the junglers are going, and right now it's River into the top side playing for Herald. However, Jose Diodo's here with a red buff, with the ability to smite. Red smite up for both these junglers, and it's River pushing away. First smite burn just to start it earlier. Second smite coming up soon.
Very interesting, actually, the way that this progressed. So they didn't have, like, Dignitas doesn't have any pressure through top lane, so it's the Tryndamere more than anything that is allowing them to pressure Dig off of this. And this is a big for a potential snowball opportunity for FlyQuest. They get this Herald. They've already taken a plate and a half from top lane. If they can get another gank off onto Fake God at some point and get that top turret rolling, it could be really big.
So we're just walking down, but they are right behind, and now they know. Now they turn around 180, and it's like, oh, actually,
Krugs!
There wasn't full vision. Smite gets to steal a Krug away. Okay, great. Now looks like the burn down took to the middle ones, and now, the fight for the rest is going to go. However, it is minions being dropped. Yes, thanks for the leash, but the rest of it will be killed off. Afro, I believe, had to solo last hit the cannon, so that is still 72 gold missing from Johnson. So it's actually still gold negative off of that play. Still, the Wakant steals pretty nice. 200 gold difference, not too bad. And now, look at this. Tukoi gonna get his ulti down in time. Puts
Probably
the ulti
get
down.
flash as
Will they
well.
have enough good damage? Can they get the last?
What?
Yes, they can. The lance gonna hit him. And he just never flashed. Didn't know if he didn't think he could dodge it or if he had to get followed anyway. Saves the summoner, but gets the kill over to Dignitas.
Whoa! I thought for sure that was not a fatal gank, but the fact that it was opens up huge things for Dignitas on the map here. Not only do they get the kill, but River can just stay in the jungle here and zone FlyQuest off minions. This can really start slingshotting Neo ahead from FlyQuest, and this is the way that Dignitas wins, right? They leave Fake God up in top lane, they have River create some chaos on the bottom side of the map, and they get Neo and Biofrost ahead.
Wow, and they kind of call the bluff because I think if Afro and Johnson walk up there, like, TPs are down for every teammate. That could have been a repeat gank for the Jarvan.
Yeah, let's watch this one more time. So River does get a nice EQ right away, but I thought after the ultimate comes down, we would see the flash. But I guess he would have died if he flashed before ulting himself, but even now, right, I was still expecting him to flash away. Maybe he thought he was dead either way with the flash follow from Jarvan, but I'd expect you at least make him commit that with Hecarim on the way to maybe push him into the turret.
I know one big habit some pros have is they aren't willing to burn a summon her if it's a death for nothing.
Exactly.
It's like, you killed me, that's 450 gold, but it's not dragon, it's not tower, it's not much more else going on. Whatever. Now I have flash up next time when we play for dragon. And I think that is a very defensible choice to say, well, you could have lived, but they're like, I'd rather save the resource, let Jarvan spend.
Just pointing out the hull breaker as well up top. Kumo's really going to want to try and make some progress with that, but it is getting increasingly difficult as Malphite builds up more wave clear, actually, and more armor, because if the turret's never sitting with minions in front of it, then it's hard for Kumo to hit it. And Dragon number 2, Dignitas right on track.
Well done to Dignitas. Now, Malphite is losing his early lane, but that is expected based on facing Tryndamere and the early ganks. However, he outscales the matchup. And you mentioned, of course, the champ select stuff as well, where it's a very AD-heavy team. So as long as he can hold up, that's going to be all right. And obviously, the 2 dragons feeling pretty good. So Dignitas, yeah, in a little bit of control over the map. And the top set's going to look good for them. However, Jarvan can fall off a cliff, and I think Zilean outscales the victor. So there are some things going back FlyQuest way as well. I think it is a close game right now between these squads. Biofrost Wing over to join the team as mid's going to crash in. And once again, looking for some plays on a Tukoi. Pretty good damage down to 400. Once again, they can go for a flash dunk into the ulti. And now, can they get the burst yet again? Flashes down, but not enough damage. Feared right into the tower, but Biofrost there for the save. What about the back half? Shield is on, will be stunned by Nautilus. 2 for nothing, seems likely. Get the root. Nice knockup. River turns one around, but they do trade it back. Well done to Jose Diodo. Poor Biofrost getting low, needs a tongue lash, gets another shield. Staying alive as long as he can, but finally does get burned down. 2-1. Advantage FlyQuest.
Blue gets baited right there, and really nice patience by Jose Duedo on his ultimate to push Blue into the turret. Really makes a winning situation. 2v2ing Hecarim Zilean when the Zilean ult is up is a very tough task. Fly gets one back.
Jack, you mentioned the durability on Kumo. Fake God used an ult to try to burn a summoner or something from Kumo. He walked away using nothing. So it looked like that was a 1v1 off screen that, yeah, honestly, Kumo was like, that's fine, I'll press Q, see ya. And that build has worked out for that reason.
Absolutely. Gale Force completed by Neo as well. I do think the game plan is going to be largely unchanged for Dig at this point. You can see Biofrost still trying to get vision. The Zilean Victor wave clear is basically matched at this point, so they're not going to be getting a significant move on either side. But let's watch this one more time. The Herald actually bumps Blue a little bit, so he's a little late to this play. Maybe if they get Tukui a little further away from the turret, they can capitalize on this, but they actually just need to back away. When Hecarim is just eye contact, holding ult, it's way too dangerous to be making this move. They land a couple nice bombs for damage. Getting the kill back onto Aphromoo was a decent salvage by River, but not going to have much after that. And Fake God popping the ultimate on Akumo.
Not nearly. It's like 5 health left. I think you can try to like stun him under the turret, but it was obviously too late for that one. Whatever.
Just push him off.
He's not going to burn the clone anyway. Like, whatever. It's not unleashed TP, so they're just kind of hard chilling for a while. And at the end of the day, well, Kumo did get his somewhat expected first blood. He's gotten 2 turret plates and about 8 CS. And I think that's reasonable, honestly. Fake God is just going to happily keep scaling on the matchup and be the better team fighter.
Yeah, 800 gold advantage for the Tryndamere. Also want to point out the... Nothing is happening at the moment. The Malphite skill order. So he maxed E first, and he's maxing W second. So you have a lot of different options on Malphite. Like there's the Comet build, where you can just max Q and try and poke people out. But he's very much not trying to be the aggressor onto Tryndamere. He's just maxing whatever can help him in close combat. So if Tryndamere ever tries to get aggressive on him, he's maxing his ability to reduce attack speed, which at rank 5 is 50% attack speed reduction for 3 seconds. And then he's also maxing his potential armor with his Thunderclap passive.
Neo's going to get pushed in, but right timing. Biofrost there for the shield, for the jump, and it's going to be fine. Neo's going to be all right. Ghost down for an ultimate. Well done, Bio, being in the right place at the right time. No kills. We've still got to stand up here on the top side. River would love to find someone to kill. Not going to happen just yet. Ulti's still up for Jose. It means he can always get away from something. Malphite Trin's still down on the bottom side. And longer Malphite stays away from the team, probably the happier FlyQuest is. But once he joins, those ults should be pretty big.
Okay, this would be a big herald for FlyQuest to take because they could drop him in and get first turret of the game. So we have a fight.
Here we go, battle begins. After we're going to walk back for this one. Dunked right back in. River running out of health, though. It's going to be a 1-for-1 so far. Zilean has burned the ulti. Biofrost a little bit has a shield available. Bomb's not going to hit, and it's going to be a knock-up. He lands it. Biofrost gets a chase down. Tukui's going to fall, and no one is able to grab Rift Herald. So FlyQuest got 100 gold for that, but +1 of the team fight for Dignitas.
What an aggressive move by River. Certain death to fly in there with the Cataclysm against a Zilean. He snuck it. They didn't guard the Herald, and Hecarim sneaks in to get it. That's actually huge because they can now break mid-turret the next time they drop it. Oh, man. They just needed to stand up there and guard it.
Last we checked in, CS Everton top was 4. It's
Wait,
now...
he didn't get it.
Oh, it timed out. He like ran by and it timed out in front of him. Woo! David Hauser masterminds. They turned to the second.
Probably not, but sure.
No.
Yeah.
Full credit for everything that ever happens. Opponent makes a mistake, mind control.
Okay, Dragon 3, but a lot of ultimates are down. So FlyQuest wants to contest this, but they don't even have Zillion ultimate up yet.
Victor and Malphite coming down, but they have Malphite ult. Fake
Dude.
God is going to be a difference maker here. I think Kumo's not yet on his own
I
Gale
think FlyQuest
Force.
flipped this.
Okay, they're coming in. Malphite ult hits on it too. They're going to delete Afromu. Kumo coming from behind. Can they kite it out? Stopwatch burn. Be careful for River. As Jose Dioto's going to be next up. He's got the revive available. It's going to time out. They've traded back on a Jarvan. Biofrost tries to stay alive. Kumo puts the ulti on. Doesn't even have to burn it. It's actually FlyQuest who win the fight. These teams going back and forth.
Wow, huge fight win for FlyQuest right there. They got so much AoE off in that corridor. Even though the Zillion is a solo AP for FlyQuest, they got huge value out of the bombs right there and were able to take down enough members of Dignitas. This is a very close game now.
Yeah, it is. And really well played by FlyQuest to come back from that one because, yeah, fighting a Malphite can be tough. He lands 2 on the ulti.
Yeah, so interestingly enough, we do see Mercury treads onto River. So let's see where the damage comes through here. Actually, I think it's just the fact that we have Blue Gun in a choke point for Johnson gets a good portion of damage down because that bomb on the left actually doesn't end up getting anyone. It was just a nice corridor for Johnson to hit from.
Well, here we go. You try it again. And another thing to point out is, again, a champion like Malphite, like, he really does want to scale to some degree. Like, you actually want to get to the point, like, armor stacking is good when you can buy armor. He's on the same build as, like, any generic fighter would have or whatever, right? Like, it's nothing too special, but it's the fact that W is percentage more armor is why that's good. The fact that his W is then tripled with his passive shield on. Again, scale with armor he is allowed to buy. So this will keep scaling up. It will get harder and harder. And even though Johnson's going Lord Dominix, which you're against Malphite, totally makes sense. It's still going to be a really hard road forward.
Yeah, it's like almost too much armor to feel like you can ever shred.
Right.
When you're talking about a Malphite who gets items, but the Hullbreaker breaks the turret. If it's going to be hard for Fake God to actually get angles, right? Like, sure, he can neutralize Kumo, but if Kumo's able to hull break these side lanes, I think he's at a strong enough point where he can probably start surviving the 2v1 against Fake God and River. It's going to be really interesting to see how Dignitas can find windows.
I'm going to try. And maybe, yeah, as you mentioned, as long as Kumo is like really aggressively playing for the waves, someone has to answer that at some point. Blue likely gets tower dove with a stopwatch. It's probably okay, but you don't want to burn a stopwatch for a Trindle and then, you know, die the next time. So it does kind of have to be Fake God. But yeah, when is he allowed to walk out of that and make the next play? But that's going to be the skill for him, right? And that's like the real skill of tank players against fighters. Fighters, like, kind of by design, are good at fighting tanks, right? They're building for single target damage. They're melee. Like, if they don't do that, what else do they even do as a champion? And so the skills of as a tank player is, okay, I can clear under the tower. When am I allowed to break from this and give a small window to make something bigger happen? And that's like a macro judgment call.
I will say that even though River puts so much attention into bottom lane early, the last team fight and the fact that Johnson got that solo turret pulls him actually dead even to Neo in goal. So Aphelios versus Jinx it's a very true handshake. It's really about who's able to enable them more in team fights because both their damage is going to be very high later in the game.
And Johnson gets to take away some camps. I believe Jose got to do a bit of that as well with the Wolves. So that feels pretty good. On the other side of the map, you can see the left side jungle has 2 pips right there. FlyQuest actually kept that jungle alive. Dignitas unable to steal it away. So a little bit of extra gold still going the direction of FlyQuest. Big environment right now, up about 1,000 gold. And down to Dragon makes me favor them very slightly on the scoreboard. Close one, though, to be fair overall.
Yeah, and they've had pretty good lane assignments so far. I actually really liked it. Even though Tryndamere is now running out bottom lane towards the Malphite, they had it a little while ago with Tryndamere up here, and Jinx had to respect it, and the Malphite would just actually have to hold back here in case anyone came over for him. But it's flipped back around right now. Not completely sure why. If I was Kumo, I would actually be trying to avoid the Malphite if there's a side lane to push, but he's gone. He's gone back to bot lane.
Only one who's actually counterbuilt him really at all. Merc treads and, you know, building towards one of the, I'm not sure which one's going to be bought out of Kindle Gem here for Jarvan second, but no one has bought any armor but the Zhonya's on this team outside of, mandatory stuff like Locket. So yeah, would be favored against anyone but that Malphite. Right now, though, Fake God is holding around mid. Top wave is okay. Bot wave hasn't been pushed in yet. Look for the play. Is someone in mid? No. Okay, I walk back over. I catch the wave before it hits the turret. Did lose 3 melees, but now a play towards me. That's a root. And that is Biofrost forced ulti away. Nice play by Johnson, though. Gale forces in to make that one happen and trades that 90-second cooldown for the similar one of Biofrost.
Yep, 100-second cooldown on the Devourer of Biofrost, and when you see the 40-second timer on that dragon, that mid push is going to be very important. I think they have a really good chance of setting up for this because you look where the bot lane is, they have this pushed, they can take control of this area, and it's going to be very difficult for Dignitas to kind of enter into that triangle in the river, and FlyQuest may be able to get this dragon just out of setup. We'll see.
Here we go. 17 seconds to go, and there is 1 ward for Dignitas. Everything else mostly played in Fog, now 2 spot. Ooh, so we didn't go to the ward. That is actually pretty meaningful.
Yeah.
Baron Rush is, I guess, doable. I think if Jinx is on 2 items, it's decent DPS. I don't think it's a very likely trade, but they are playing for the cross map. They say, look, Dragon number 2 does not matter. But unfortunately, Kumo aggressively goes for the wave clear. The stun not going to mean too much. Again, he has Hull Breaker, and he does go Kraken, actually. He does go for a build that allows him to fight the Malphite. It won't be as much mobility in the teamfight itself for Assassinated Jinx, but if he's playing, no, we have to keep the Malphite away from the 5-on-5, play purely for the 1-on-1. That's the build that gets that done.
FlyQuest definitely wrestling control back in this game, winning the fight over the 3rd dragon, just winning the positioning war over the 4th, and you can kind of honestly say they're starting to pull into an advantage. It'll be about really what Fake God looks like when he's able to kind of complete his Thimblewinter, get more armor stacking, really see if he can make an impact in team fights. Because right now, just like the side lane presence of just having push has been enough to get FlyQuest back in this game.
Good job. Lead grows. 2 dragons in a row now. Gold up to 1,300. That wasn't just the team fight. They've actually been getting more farm overall.
Yeah.
Blue's up 40. That's well done, but still, it's Kumo getting a lot done on the side lanes, and I believe they've been poaching jungle camps as well. A 40 CS lead in the jungle. Jose Diodo, obviously you don't want to play Jarvan as a hard farmer, but Jarvan is down 2 levels. Jarvan is down 10 camps. That is really meaningful. And unfortunately for him, I mean, he's got 5 kills done, right? Like, he's doing a good job, but Jose's got 6.
Yeah, and Jose's a tank in his own right.
Yeah.
With the Frozen Heart and the Turbo Chem tank right now,
he's up an item.
Just got to make something happen.
Well, they're looking right now at the sidestep from Biofrost on the front line to go. Big damage in Aftermoo. He will not be ulted. He will die instead. Of course, Zillion does not able to put that ulti onto him, so not going to matter here. 1-4-0. Mid push going to continue. No double bomb, and River doesn't find the engage just yet, but that turret, they should be able to free hit this one. Stay on there, put the damage in, and yes, they do. 450 for the kill, 500 for the tower. They get tossed right back into this one. Bot lane answered enough.
Yep. Neutralized.
Yeah, neutralized.
Just a missed engage there by Afromoo. And then I don't think Takui was in range to get his ultimate off onto him. It'll really open up the map for Dignitas's mid lane push later. Again, it's just very, very small things happening in this game. Nothing to break it open as of yet.
Agreed. Want to see that big climactic fight, the one around Baron maybe? Because until you have Soul Point, and that's going to be in 3 minutes, then 5 minutes later to actually fight for the dragon, like, you don't have a lot of pressure valves right now that are going to, or I should say, you don't have a lot of pressure points right now where someone's got to kind of release that. So
I think we're in for a long one.
Yeah, they're allowed to play pretty slow.
Yeah, grab a snack. You got 2 minutes, 30 seconds till the next dragon. I think you're going to need something. And unless something weird happens, this is going 40.
Yeah, and this is actually to kind of point out a thing about Dignitas. Like, if they outscale, this is the kind of thing where the first 2 dragons really, really help. Because imagine if FlyQuest was able to play for the dragons. They would have been forced to fight for the last one, or they'd be forced to fight for the next one. If they want to wait and chill, they're allowed because they were able to say, well, Malphite, sorry, sucks for you. We're going to play around bot, get Dragon 1, get Dragon 2. We're allowed to play until 35 before we're forced to do anything.
Interesting as well that Neo is opting for LBR instead of Infinity Edge third. He's probably just feeling like he's...
Hecarim's getting a lot of armor, and you know, there's some on the Nautilus as well. I think it's a pretty close choice, especially because you're allowed to earn all the money to go to final item. Yeah, I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about itemization because I feel like I do it so often. But he's saying, hey, I care most about getting through Hecarim, and that's the logic.
Yeah, for sure. Especially with these team fights being largely front to back, and Dignitas you know, unless they're going forward with River, are mainly, like, they've been playing counter-engage in a lot of these situations.
Yeah. So, bottom, Scuttle goes down, River able to claim it, and honestly, by mid-game, and this is something that I think a lot of junglers, as they sort of progress and get better, need to sort of learn. Scuttle is the most important camp once you're into mid-game. It's worth the most gold, the most XP, and the most map pressure. Like, yeah, obviously buffs matter or whatnot, but you'd rather take a Scuttle than someone's Krugs. You actually get more out of that. So it is, I think, actually very important. It's a little indicative of like who's winning the map overall. If you're able to do that one, Fake God and Kumo going to be in a battle, and yeah, he can't even break the passive shield. Of course, Fimbulwinter adds on to that, by the way. Landing a slow if you're melee gives you the Fimble shield. So, oh, every time Q's up, here's another shield. Ah, I guess you're not killing me.
Okay, we have 45 seconds to Dragon. Let's check in on the side waves. Blue is recalling. He has teleport, so he's going to be able to get back. But Trinimir's perma pushed in here, and we have the River position already taken by FlyQuest, so they do have the advantage moving into this. It's hard for Dignitas to retake without having any control wards in the River.
There's just Scuttle. Like, interestingly enough, that Scuttle's actually doing so much for them so that they can know if they're going all the way down. If they start Dragon, at least that is known. The setup is nothing, right? The setup, they got no info on the setup. What brush they're playing in. Is Jose Diodo in that brush? Probably, but it's not guaranteed. Did Afro Hex Flash in there? No way of knowing. Ward comes in, Biofrost checks it, feels safe enough.
Fake God's made it down, though.
Oh, and who are they going to ult, though, is the question. Because Kumo's there here as well. Bot lane back to equal, and Dignitas able to muscle their way in on getting Fake God early and pushing through into the river. Now it's Dignitas who own the wards. Dragon is alive, and they start it.
We think Dignitas should be favored in front-to-back fights, so Kumo's trying to flank behind them. It's about who can mark Kumo. I think if Fake God just marks Kumo off the side, they should be generally okay.
Looks like it's going to be a smite fight, though.
Yeah, they're flipping it.
And it's going to be grabbed nicely down to Jose Diodo. And they go in for the dive. A dunk on a 2 is going to be enough damage, though. Fearing right back in, trying to burn him down. Malphite ulti hits 2. And here comes Kumo. 1 for 1 so far, but he cannot hit much of the front line. Slowed down, they kite him. He goes for bio, finds one, pops the ult, and then just lock him down. But a stopwatch buys a lot of time. Kumo has to jump over to stay alive. Oh, the Gale Force doesn't kill. It's not enough damage, but Malphite is literally unkillable and walks through the back line, plays the bruiser. FlyQuest lucky to win that smite because the team fight goes 3-3.
Unironically, the most pivotal moment of that fight was the smite. Who has the chance of getting Hextech Soul? Because of how close these fights are being, that could be the difference at the end of the day. But watch this one more time. Fake God decides to be the initiator, which does give Kumo a window to come in the back of the fight. But let's watch this, Baron. Looks like just a burst from 1400. So, like, basically an impossible smite coming through from Jose Diodo. Based on the replay, it does look like River's smite wasn't up, but sometimes that's unreliable. Watching this one more time, good exhaust comes down for Kumo, and thank goodness for the stopwatches. Otherwise, Kumo actually cleans this much faster. We probably would have just killed Neo right there, but then Gale Force...
It even canceled the double bomb, because one was on Jinx and one went on Malphite. So you would have stunned the entire team if there wasn't a stopwatch in the middle. Like, there's so much that happened there because of that stopwatch. So well played there. Lord Dominic's now done. Lichbane is in for blue. That's a great item. That is a huge DPS add. You can see already 5,400 out of the team fight so far. Obviously, yes, a lot done from the Tryndamere as well. Has, of course, done more damage in the fight as expected. Quick blades are in, but Dignitas are back on the map, ready to play for mid lane. Knows he's going to land decent damage. Blue is chunked a bit, but can you really go for River? Actually, good shot out of Johnson.
They can root him?
Ooh, Chomper's in a good spot, though. That's going to lock down Afro.
They're really thinking about it. The awkward thing for Dignitas right now is that they really want Malphite to be able to stand in front, but he's just always stuck defending behind that turret. So it does make that 4v4 possibly advantage for FlyQuest because they just have like the threat of Hecarim, the threat of Nautilus. If there ever is a turn, the Zillion ult's going to save it. So I kind of want to see Blue find more opportunities to move and push Kumo off of the lane so that Fake God can have some turns in mid lane, because what's currently happening is we're just seeing Blue all the time just catching waves up here. I know it's unconventional, but I wouldn't mind seeing Jinx make moves up here, have Victor push out mid, because then at least they can have an AP threat with high damage to be able to maybe knock Tryndamere off the side lane, because with the way it's currently going, I think FlyQuest is going to have pretty good setup again for the Hextech Soul and have a chance at winning this game.
River plays it pretty safely. Is rooted in place, though. Follow through not probably going to be there. Jose going to jump in. Gets a decent chunk out, honestly. But here comes the next play. They're going to find the Nova Bomb. Just put it on the ward. You land it for the stun. They got TPs into I guess, defending the team in case it was going to be a dive. Ultimately, though, 2 minutes until Dragon, and if FlyQuest get it, that is Hextech Soul. It is the winningest Dragon Soul on the Rift. We'll see if it's going to matter here, though. A lot of that data, of course, is, well, you're ahead. This one's going to be pretty close. Afro walks in, finds a stun onto Invincible, but a stun to River, not bad. Aphelios ult hits only Fate God. By the way, Fate God did not take any damage here. The Mortal Shield comes back on, and guess what? That's Aphelios ulti down.
I really thought Dignitas was going to try and take a fight there because for once they had Fake God in front. But now that it's 5v5, they're trying to do everything they can. They're just going to start up Baron, hope for FlyQuest to come in. Surely they're looking for a turn. River on the flank. Watch the Jarvan.
Tuki won the smite last time. Will he get it here? This is a risk. Dignitas playing in the Baron. Hasn't been as much of a meme in the last couple of years, but they got to be careful.
Tough.
Zillion poke isn't huge. Kumo going to wait to play the blast plant angle. River still marking as Fake God is one taking the Baron, but they find River. River could die fast. They ult only a Nautilus, but they find a knockup on a Tukoi. Then on the back lane, it trades one back. 1-for-1 so far. Do they have enough damage? It's still Johnson cutting around. He actually kills Fake God, and he's going for blue. Lichbane lands. Oh, flash Q auto. He nearly had the damage, and it's time for them to run. Neo is smited. Neo will fall. He can't dodge anything. A double kill for Kumo. The Bud Light ace for FlyQuest.
That could be it. They have a big wave in mid lane. They won the clutch fights time and time again. Looks like FlyQuest is going to 7-4.
And there we go into third place alone. 7-4, the third best record on the LCS. They will knock down the turrets. They will have Jose heal off the turrets. Thank you, Tukui. And it's going to be Nexus falling FlyQuest. 7-4.
Huge bounce back week for FlyQuest Freak. 5-1 before Super Week. 3-game losing streak. Matched up with a 2-0.
Yep.
Right back there again, solidly in third place. And honestly, Kumo's Tryndamere in this game was very impressive to me. The way they were able to move around Fake God's Malphite and the possible initiation of Dignitas was very strong. Johnson, good positioning in basically every fight, not really giving Fake God